Gather round, travelers. Welcome to the Haunted Legion. Here, every whisper in the dark, every creak in the floorboards, and every shadow in the corner tells a story. I'll be your guide through forgotten legends, haunted places, and chilling mysteries that refuse to be forgotten. So light a candle, steel your nerves, and step into a world where the past never rests. I reckon it started with a lie. I'd told myself I was just out for a hike, just a man wanting to stretch his legs, breathe a little mountain air. Truth was, I was running from a woman, a job, a life I didn't much care for no more. So I threw my pack in the truck, pointed it north, and drove till the roads turned to gravel, and the gravel turned to dirt, and the dirt finally just disappeared into the woods. That was West Virginia for you. God's country, if God ever had a mean streak. The old folks at the last town I passed through, they warned me, told me there were places up in the mountains, places even the deer wouldn't go, places the ground itself remembered and didn't take kindly to strangers. I laughed, tipped my hat, kept driving. I didn't believe in ghost stories back then. Thought all that was just a way to keep the kids close to home. Lord help me. I believe now. The first day was peaceful enough. Sun was bright. Sky was clear, except for a lazy drift of mist down low in the hollers. I found an old trail half swallowed by moss and thyme and followed it up the ridge. By mid-afternoon, I come across something strange. An old tree, bent clear over like it was bowing to something, and beneath it stones, set in a perfect circle, each one about knee-high, covered in carvings, spirals, handprints, faces, things that didn't make no sense. Should have turned around right then, should have said my prayers, and gone back the way I come. But I didn't. Curiosity's a funny thing. It'll have a man step right off a cliff just to see what's at the bottom. The air changed soon as I crossed that circle. Felt heavy, thick, like breathing through wet wool. The woods got quiet too. Real quiet. Not even a crow calling. Just the sound of my boots in the leaves and my own damn heart pounding in my ears. And the feeling, that feeling of eyes watching, it settled over me like a second skin. I found the mound just before dark. Big ol' hump of earth tucked away between two craggy hills. At first I thought it was just a sinkhole or maybe an old settler's grave. But the way the trees bowed away from it, the way the moss wouldn't grow on it, I knew better. This was something old. Older than memory. Older than sin. I set up camp a good ways off, but still, too close. Built me a small fire, boiled some coffee, tried to shake the chill crawling up my spine. Didn't help none. The woods was watching. I could feel it, like 1,000 eyes peering through the dark. That first night, I heard the drums, low, deep drums, carrying through the trees like a heartbeat. I thought maybe it was thunder at first, but the sky was clear, so clear you could see every star God's ever lit. I sat real still, listening, and Lord forgive me, I heard singing too, low voices humming, chanting in a tongue I didn't know, but my bones did. Every hair on my body stood straight up. I should have packed up right then, walked out of them woods and never looked back. But I didn't. I stayed, and the ground began to breathe. It happened sometime around midnight. I was laying in my bedroll, staring up at the black canvas of the night when I felt it. The earth beneath me, shifting, rising, falling, like a slumbering beast waking up. I sat up, heart hammering, ears straining for any sound. That's when I saw them, figures, rising out of the earth one by one. First their heads, then their shoulders, then their full bodies cloaked in shadow and dirt. Men, women, children, all made of bone and dust. Their faces were blank, but their eyes burned with a cold blue fire. They stood there, ringed round my camp, just staring. And one by one they started to sway back and forth like trees in a storm. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. I knew, deep in my blood, that if I so much as twitched, they'd take me down into that ground with them. The biggest one stepped forward. He was draped in skins, bones braided into his hair, a spear in one hand, feathers in the other. He pointed that spear at me. Didn't say a word. Didn't have to. The message was clear as glass. You don't belong here. I don't know how long I knelt there. Could have been minutes. Could have been years. But when I finally found the strength to move, I stood up slow, real slow, and backed away. Didn't turn my back, didn't run, just backed and backed and backed till the trees swallowed him up and the mist hid the mound from sight. I didn't sleep that night. Just sat with my back to a tree, knife in hand, watching the dark till the sky bled pink with dawn. Come morning, I ran, left my gear, my pack, even my damn boots, just ran, barefoot, half blind, till I stumbled back onto that old dirt road where I'd parked the truck. I drove straight to the nearest town, didn't stop for nothing. A preacher found me sitting outside the gas station, shivering like a man fever. He took one look at me, and he knew. He led me inside, sat me down, poured me a cup of coffee so strong it could strip paint. Didn't ask me what happened. Didn't have to. He just said, "You went where you weren't welcome, son. They let you leave, but they never really let you go." And he was right. They didn't. Ever since that night, I hear 'em. When the wind gets low and mean, when the mist rolls down off the hills, I hear the drums, hear the singing. Sometimes I see shadows at the edge of the tree line, tall, still waiting. Sometimes I wake up and there's dirt under my nails, mud on my feet like I've been walking in my sleep, back toward them hills, back toward that ground. I keep a shotgun by the bed now. Not that it'll do me any good. Some nights, I swear I feel the earth breathing under me again, rising, falling, calling me home. You don't go looking for places like that. You don't dig up what's meant to stay buried. You don't cross the old stones. You don't camp near the mound. And you damn sure don't ignore the drums. Because once you hear them, they hear you too. Around here don't talk much about the hollow. Not after dark anyway. They'll tell you there ain't nothing out there but trees and rock. Maybe a few old deer trails if you're lucky. But that's a lie. And I reckon I'm the proof. It started with a map, old thing, hand-drawn, yellowed, and fraying at the edges. Found it at a flea market, shoved in a box full of junk. There was a mark on it, deep in the mountains. Just a tiny black X in a place called Deadman's Hollow. I should have known better. Hell, even the name should have sent me running. But no, I had that itch. The same one that's cost better men their lives. I had to know, had to see what was waiting out there. I packed light, rifle, bedroll, a little food, drove up past Iron Creek till the road gave up the ghost, then started walking down into the hollow. The air got colder with every step. Didn't matter that it was late June. By the time I hit the bottom, I could see my own breath hanging in the mist. And the trees were wrong. Tall, crooked things, bark black as coal, branches twisting up to the sky like hands begging for something they was never going to get. And the deeper I went, the quieter it got. No birds, no bugs, just the soft crunch of dead leaves underfoot and the sound of my own breathing. I found the stones just past sundown. Tall ones, worn down by wind and time, stuck in the ground like rotten teeth. They formed a ring, maybe 30 feet across, and right in the center, a pit, not natural, dug by hand long ago, so deep the bottom was swallowed up by dark. I knelt at the edge. They felt the cold rolling out at it, like a thing breathing slow and steady in its sleep. And in that moment, I felt it, something old, something angry, watching me from down there. I should have run, God knows, I meant to, but when I stood up, I saw them. Shapes between the trees. Not quite men, not quite beasts. Tall, thin things, their faces pale and smooth like river stones. Their mouths hanging open, hollow and black. They didn't make no sound, didn't move. Just watched. My skin turned to ice. My heart slammed against my ribs. I took a step back and the ground gave out beneath me. I fell, tumbled down into the pit, blind and gasping, hit the bottom hard enough to knock the wind clean out of me. Laid there a minute, staring up at that tiny circle of gray sky, feeling the earth close in around me. And then I heard them. Not above, but below. Whispers, thin and crackling like dry leaves in a fire. They spoke in a tongue older than dirt. They had Tedemo, words that wormed their way into my head, words that hurt just to hear. And then the hands. They rose up from the dirt, long clawed fingers reaching, grabbing at my arms, my legs, pulling me down. I kicked, I fought, I screamed. Didn't matter. They dragged me deeper into the cold black under the hollow. And I swear to God, I saw them, the hollow ones. Eyes like pits. Mouths open wide like they was trying to scream but forgot how. Their skin was stretched thin. So thin you could see the bones right underneath. They circled me, twitching and shuddering, each one moaning low like a wind through a dead tree. I don't remember how I got out. Next thing I knew, I was lying on the forest floor, mud in my mouth, blood on my hands. The stones were gone, the pit was gone, just trees and mist, in that silence. I stumbled back to the truck, drove blind down the mountain, heart hammering like a drum. Didn't stop till I saw the lights of town, didn't sleep that night or the next. Still don't sleep easy. They followed me home, you see, not in the way you might think, not in flesh and blood, but they're here in the corners of my room when the lights go out, in the mirror when I ain't looking close enough, in the low whisper and hum that never really stops. Sometimes I wake up with dirt under my fingernails. Sometimes I hear a voice calling me back, calling me home. I don't leave the house no more after dark. Don't answer knocks at the door. Don't listen to the wind when it whispers my name. I know better now. I know the truth they never told us growing up. Some places ain't meant for men to tread. Some places don't forgive trespass, and some things, once they find you, they don't never let you go. So if you ever find yourself out that way, if you ever see a path winding down into the hollow, if you ever hear the drums in the distance, turn around, run, don't look back, not even once, because if you do, they'll be waiting. They say, there's places in these mountains where the dead ain't dead at all. Places where the old songs still hum low beneath the trees, where the earth remembers and the blood don't wash clean. I know that now. I know it better than I know my own name. It started when my uncle passed. Old Caleb, hard man, full of stories and bad whiskey. He had a cabin up in the far hills, way past where the pavement cracks and the map runs thin. Left it to me in his will. Said it was mine now. But don't dig, he wrote. Don't dig, no matter what you hear. I laughed when I read it, thought it was just more of his usual backwoods superstition. God help me. I ain't laughing now. I made the drive up late in the day because I had work that morning and figured I'd camp the night, clean up the place come sunrise. The cabin was there all right, leaning a little sideways like it was tired of standing. Moss crept up the logs, chimney sagged, windows stared out blind and hollow. Still, it had a roof and 4 walls, which was more than I had to my name at the time. I unlocked the door, stepped inside. The smell of dust and old smoke near knocked me flat. I built a fire in the hearth, swept out the worst of the mess, unrolled my bedroll by the embers. That's when I heard it. A hum, low and slow, running through the floorboards like a heartbeat. I pressed my hand to the wood, and I swear to you, it was vibrating. Not shaken, not like an earthquake, but breathing, like something alive, deep under the dirt, waking up. I told myself it was just the fire settling, just the old timbers groaning. So I laid back, pulled my coat up around my shoulders, and I slept. In my dream, the cabin was gone. The hills were bare, black stones littered the ground like teeth, and the sky bled red between the twisted trees. There were figures, painted in ash and ochre, chanting, low in a tongue I didn't know, but my bones did. They circled a mound of earth, high and wide, their hands lifted to the heavens, their mouths wide in silent screams. Atop the mound, a figure knelt, a woman, her hair black as night, her eyes 2 hollow pits weeping blood. She turned to look at me, and she spoke. "You are trespass," she said, "and the ground is hungry." I woke up gasping. The fire had burned down to coals, throwing cut, just enough light to see the walls shudder and sway, like the cabin was breathing in time with something deep below. And then I heard the song, soft at first, a hum drifting up through the cracks, sweet and mournful, like a mother singing to a babe she done lost. It curled through the room, wrapped round my heart, pulled at something inside me. I stood, barefoot, sleep drunk, and I followed it. Out the door, down the steps, into the woods. The moon hung low and mean over the hills. The mist curled round my ankles like cold fingers. The song led me deeper, past the deadfall, past the gnarled pines, till I come to a clearing I ain't never seen before. And there it was, the mound, bigger than any I ever laid eyes on, tall as a house, wide as a church, ringed by stones, blackened and worn, but still humming with that same low song. I stepped close. The air smelled thick, rich with something sweet and rotten, and carved into the face of the mound words. Old words, Cherokee. I couldn't read them, but I could feel them, curling round my mind, whispering promises in a voice like warm honey poured over broken glass. Dig, it said. Dig and be blessed. Dig and belong. I dropped to my knees without thinking. Started scooping at the dirt with my bare hands, faster and faster, the soil cold and wet against my skin, nails breaking, blood running. I dug till my fingers hit something hard. Wood. Old. Cracked. Buried deep. A coffin. I should have stopped, should have ran, but the song was inside me now, in my blood, in my teeth. I tore at the wood, ripped it open, and what lay inside weren't nothing God ever made. It was a woman. Or had been. Once. Long black hair twisted round her bones like snakes, skin pulled tight and blackened over a hollow frame, eyes wide open, staring straight into mine, mouth stretched in a grin too wide, too sharp. She moved. Her hands shot up, gripping my wrists with a strength that near broke the bone. Her mouth opened wider still, and from it poured not sound, but dark. A black mist, thick and slick as oil, pouring into my mouth, my nose, my ears, filling me up. I screamed, but the sound died in my throat. All I could hear was the song. I woke at dawn, half buried in the dirt, cold as the grave. The mound was gone. The stones were gone. Only the trees stood, black and watching. I stumbled back to the cabin, washed the dirt from my skin, but not from my soul. Couldn't wash away the cold hum that now lived in my bones. I tried to leave, loaded up the truck, headed down the mountain, didn't make it 5 miles. The road twisted back on itself, brought me right back to the cabin. Tried again. Same thing. It was like the woods had swallowed me whole. I live here now. Can't leave. Don't much bother trying. The song keeps me company. The woman visits sometimes standing just outside the firelight, humming that low, sweet lullaby. And sometimes late at night I hear digging, soft at first, then faster, harder, hands scrabbling at the earth just outside my door, and I know, deep down, they're coming for me. A man don't walk on Cherokee ground and live free. A man don't break the stones, don't open the boxes meant to stay shut. The land remembers, and the debt must be paid. So if you ever find yourself wandering too far up these hills, if you feel the ground humming under your boots, if you hear a sweet song calling your name in the mist, don't follow, turn round, run, don't look back, because if you dig, you'll find more than bones. You'll find a hunger that never dies, a hunger that's waiting still, right beneath your feet. Folks around these parts, they got stories they don't rightly tell anymore. Tales they used to whisper 'fore the fire died low, about things that walked the woods long before we ever built fences or roads. And if you ever hear about the Raven Mocker, you best close your ears. Yeah, best you pray you don't ever see it for yourself. I ain't proud to say it, but I didn't listen. Not when the old Cherokee woman come knocking at my door. Not when she warned me with them black, blinking eyes. You keep to the roads, boy, she said. You don't stray after dark, and whatever you hear calling you, you don't answer. I laughed her off, laughed like a damn fool, and I went into those woods anyway. It was a cold October night, full moon hanging fat and mean over the trees. Air sharp enough to bite. I was hunting, that's what I told myself. Truth is, I was running. Running from debts, from bad blood, from a life that didn't want me no more. I figured if I just pushed deeper into the hills, I could outrun it. Outrun the man I'd been. I crossed the river at Widow's Gap, climbed up past Dead Crow Ridge, and set up camp by a hollow where the trees grew thick and mean, like they didn't want company. And that's where I first heard it. A call. Soft at first, like a baby crying somewhere just beyond the light. High, broken, full of sorrow. I froze. Listened, knew better than to move. But it called again, closer this time. A sound that crawled up under my skin, made the little hairs stand up on the back of my neck. I grabbed my rifle, stepped to the edge of the firelight, peered into the black, and that's when I saw it. A figure. Tall and crooked, like its bones didn't fit right inside its skin. Wrapped in black rags that fluttered in the breeze, though the air was still, it stood just beyond the tree line, watching. Its head cocked sideways like a curious crow. I raised the rifle. Show yourself! I barked. It didn't move, didn't flinch, only laughed, a sound like dry leaves scratching across a grave, and then it spoke. You're already dead, boy, it said. Ain't no running from me. I ran anyway. Snatched my bag, my rifle, tore off into the woods like the hounds of hell were snapping at my heels. Branches clawed at my face, roots grabbed my boots. I didn't care. I didn't stop. Not till I hit the old trail near the river, gasping for air, my heart slamming in my chest. And that's when I saw them. Figures, standing all along the path, Dozens of them, tall, thin shadows, wearing the faces of people I knew were dead, old friends, kinfolk, ma and pa, all standing there, smiling wide, with mouths too full of teeth, waiting for me. The raven mocker stepped out from among them. Closer now, I could see its face, or what passed for one, a twisted thing, stitched from different skins, white man, red man, black, all sewn together by cruel hands. Its eyes were empty pits. Its mouth split wide with a grin that reached clear to its ears. It smelled like cold iron and rotted leaves. "You come to take from the old ones," it said, voice grinding like stones in a riverbed. "You walk their graves like you got the right. So now," it leaned in, breath cold against my skin, "they'll take from you." Before I could move, it slashed the air with one long, hooked finger. Pain ripped through me. Not on the outside, inside. Like something reaching into my chest, digging round my ribs, pulling something out that weren't meant to be touched. I dropped to my knees, vomited blood and bile into the dirt. The figures closed in, their mouths moving in a silent chant. The world tilted and spun. The last thing I saw was the raven mocker's grin, stretching wider, wider, till it swallowed up the night. I woke at dawn, if you can call it wakin'. I was still there by the river, still breathing. But something was wrong, very wrong. The air smelled sweet and sour like a fresh grave. My skin hung loose on my bones, my hands shook with a fever that wouldn't break. Worst of all, I could hear the song, low, constant, thrumming through the trees like the beat of a war drum, a song for the dead. I staggered back to town. Took me 2 days. Nobody would look me in the eye. Children screamed when they saw me. Dogs growled and hid under porches. When I caught my reflection in a window, I understood why. I was hollow, sunken eyes, gray skin, moving like a man who should have been buried a long time ago. And no matter how much I ate, how much I drank, I stayed starving. Like there was a hole inside me, something the raven mocker had carved out, something that would never heal. The old Cherokee woman found me again. Didn't say nothing at first. Just sat with me on the church steps, staring out at the empty street. Finally, she spoke. "You heard it sing, didn't you?" she said, her voice soft as a gravecloth. I nodded, couldn't bring myself to speak. "It's too late now," she whispered. "You're marked. It'll follow you. It'll feed on you till there's nothing left but the shell." And that's what it's been doing. Day after day, night after night. I feel it, running its claws through my thoughts, peeling away pieces of me, small at first, memories, names, faces, then bigger things. Who I was, what I loved, now I'm just this, a walking corpse, a whisper of a man. I can still hear it, that song, coming closer. Every night, when the wind dies down and the stars wink out, I hear the beat of the drum, the call of the dead. And sometimes I see the raven mocker standing at the edge of my yard, watching, waiting, its mouth open in a grin that never ends. I know what it's waiting for me to lay down and not get up again, waiting for the last flicker of life to gutter out so it can tear the soul from my bones and add my cry to that endless wailing chorus that drifts through these hills. So if you're wise, you'll remember this. You don't tread on Cherokee ground. You don't mock the dead. You don't answer when the night calls you by name, because if you do, the raven mocker will come, and once it marks you, there ain't no priest, no bullet, no prayer that can save you. Only the hollow, only the hunger, only the slow, sweet song of the grave, waiting just for you. Thanks for wandering with us tonight. If the darkness spoke to you, tap that like and subscribe before it slips away. If you've got a story, leave it behind in the comments. We'll find it. We always do. Till we meet again, keep watching the dark. It's already watching you.